Hi, welcome back to my channel, Happy Girl Alaska. So today I'm going to be filming a kind of get ready with me working from home type of vlog. I asked the question in my last video if anybody was interested in seeing that, and I need to get the name of the person who said yes. Hang on just a second. Okay, so MBAC Jones, hey girl, responded and said yes, she would like to see, she said, please do a work from home video. My company wants me to work from home. Definitely will appreciate watching someone else doing the same. So I'm making it happen for you. Hopefully you'll find something beneficial out of this video. I don't know if maybe this will be your first time working from home, but like I said, I find that if you can follow the same routine that you normally would if you're going into the office, then I think you'll be able to stay focused. All right, so it's coffee time. So I like to start off every morning by making my bed. I find that making my bed sets the tone for the day, and it makes me feel like I've crossed off the first task on my list. All right, so next we're going to get dressed so we can do some yoga. So I've been practicing yoga for the past 6 years, and this is a really great way for me to wake up my body, to get a really nice stretch. And I use this Maya Yoga Vinyasa Fusion CD or DVD by Nikki Doan. She's one of my favorite yoga instructors. This DVD is no longer for sale, but she does conduct intensive workshops all over the country. I want to say maybe even globally. So after I'm done hitting the mat, I go ahead and roll it up so that I can move on to my next favorite activity in the morning, which is having my detox tea. And this detox tea by Yogi is something I discovered maybe a couple weeks ago while I was doing the 10-day green smoothie challenge by JJ Smith. And ever since then, I've just incorporated it into my morning. This is my favorite coffee mug. Something beautiful is on the horizon, and I just love to start my day that way. So next, I move on to journaling and reading. I've been journaling now probably for over 20 years, and I purchased this big, huge journal from Barnes & Noble. And this is just kind of giving you a sneak peek into some of the things that I've written down within the past, I want to say 6 months. But I'm listening to an audio book right now entitled Power Shift by Damon John. And I'm telling you, it is a game changer. I listened to it while I was on the plane, and I decided I wanted to listen to it again. Now it's time to move on to the shower and taking care of all that hygiene. All right, so now it's time to get dressed for the day, and I love to dress corporate casual when I'm working from home, and I tend to wear jewel tones because I find that when I'm on video conferencing, that color translates really well on me, as well as gold jewelry. I love wearing silver jewelry as well. And you'll see here, I call these my power fragrances. So I have Euphoria by Calvin Klein. And this fragrance is one I like to wear in the spring and the summertime. I'm trying to get a good grip so you can see the name of this fragrance here. Let's see. There we go. Euphoria by Calvin Klein. And then also Obsession by Calvin Klein. Now these are old school fragrances, but I'm telling you, when I put these on, they make me feel like a boss woman. And I like to wear Obsession in the fall and in the winter time. And then dark denims. If I'm going corporate casual to work, I'll wear dark denims as well because I feel like they are work appropriate. Hey you guys. So if you've made it this far, You're a real one. So I just got my morning started, and as you saw, what I try to do is keep my mornings as consistent as possible, whether or not I'm going in the office or I'm working from home. I follow the exact same routine. I wake up somewhere between 4 and 4:30, and then I do everything that I just showed you. Every now and again, I may miss the whole yoga workout, but I try to get that in at least 3 to 5 days a week. And I'm pretty good about keeping the same schedule on the weekends as well. So what I'm gonna do now is go in, make myself some coffee. I'm usually not hungry super early in the morning. I like to have my first solid meal maybe around like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So typically what I'll do is I'll make myself a smoothie, or if I've made soup, maybe the night before or a few days ago, I'll have soup. But I'm not really like the type of person that'll sit down to a full-on solid breakfast meal, unlike what I did when I was on vacation. But I noticed that my body didn't feel as great when I did that. So anyway, I'm gonna make myself some coffee and make myself a smoothie, and then we'll get into our work day. Okay, so my work day normally starts out here on the couch, and what I do, and this is typical of any work day, whether I'm working from home or if I'm in the office, what I do is I go through my emails, I look at my calendar to see what meetings I have set up, and then I go from there. So another thing that I think is really important is to make sure that you have all the equipment you need in order to work from home. So I have my laptop, I have monitors in my rooms downstairs. Today I don't really need to have a second or third monitor, so I'm gonna leave those where they're at. I did at one time have a dedicated office, but that was because the last place of business, I had so much flexibility to where I could work from home any day of the week that I wanted to. But because I'm starting with a new company, I think it's like a year. They want to see how you perform, and then you can kind of like have more flexibility. But for me, I have my laptop, I have my headset that I can plug into my laptop so that when I have meetings, or let's say we have a call, or I need to make a call to someone in the office, I can go ahead and do that without using my cell phone. And then also software. So we use Avaya software, and that's what we're using for placing calls, if we're having conference calls, that type of stuff. And I guess you could, like if you work in a call center setting, which I don't, but if you did, there's a way to set it up to where you could see calls that are like in the queue, and you could accept those calls. But for me, I just use it for my own personal use, like I said, meetings or one-on-one calls. We also use Skype, and we use something called Tiger Text. And both of those are like instant messaging types of applications where you can just type a message. It's kind of like texting, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I live by Outlook because that's how I send out a lot of my documentation. And also I use the Outlook calendar for scheduling my meetings and so forth. So yeah, it's a really good setup. I have my internet connection here, and as long as I can get onto the internet, I can VPN into my company's network. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this work day, and I will check back in. Okay, so something else that I want to mention as far as working from home, I think it's important to have a space that is very comfortable. You want it to be free of clutter. Like I said, I've been in the process of redecorating, and I love the new color scheme. It's so soft. If anybody's interested in a room tour or something like that, I'm happy to do that. But so yeah, like I said, you can have a dedicated office space, and even then, when I had my dedicated office space, I made sure that it was just really comfortable, relaxing type of environment, because things can get stressful enough at work. So, and same thing in the office, I have it decorated in a calm Zen type of decor, I guess you could call it. So yeah. Another thing that I want to mention is, so for me, when I'm working from home, if my daughter is here, sometimes it's hard for people to appreciate that, yes, you can see me. I'm sitting in the same spot. I may be taking phone calls or what have you. And, but it's hard for them to remember that you are at work. And so I think it's important to kind of, if this is something new for you, sit down with them and say, hey, I'm going to need to dedicate time, or if you have kids, mommy needs to dedicate, a couple hours or what have you to work on work things, and come to me if it's an emergency. So I know when Kasia was smaller, and I've been doing telework since 2008. Every job that I've worked in the IT space, I've had the flexibility since 2008, I should say. I've been in IT longer than that, but since 2008, I've had the flexibility to work from home. And it was hard because when your kids see you, they want to come sit in your lap, they want to talk, they want you to play, and all of that stuff. So you just have to be really diligent, about setting those boundaries. And when I was married to Kasia's dad, if he was home, he was really good about keeping her entertained and reminding her, that I was at work. At first, for him, it was a little difficult too. And I guess what people don't really get is, especially if you're in IT, your job is very cerebral a lot of times, and you're creating documentation, presentations, and stuff like that. So you're not being really tactical. And I think when people don't see you up and moving around, then they kind of think, oh, well, maybe they're taking a break, And I would say too, schedule your breaks. I schedule every single break that I have planned for the day in Outlook, because I like to manage my day. And, if my daughter's here with me, I make sure I schedule a break every 2 hours. So I'll schedule like 30 minutes after the first couple hours that I've been working. And then I'll schedule like an hour or an hour and a half lunch. And then 2 hours after that, I schedule another 30-minute break. So for me, it's just really important to take that time to pause, because another thing that can happen, so there's a couple things that can happen, right? So if you're working from home, you could get distracted. Let's say if there are chores that need to be done and all that stuff, you're like, well, I'm already in the house. Let me go ahead and take care of that. But you need to remember that your employer is counting on you to get things done when you're working from home. But another thing that could happen is you could sit down to your laptop or, in your office, close your door, and you can kind of lose track of time and completely forget to take those breaks. And I guess for some people, that's a good thing. They like to just go ahead and power through. But for me, I find that I'm a lot more effective when I'm working from home, but also if I'm taking those little breaks in between. So yeah, I would also say to remember to be responsive. So if someone calls you and if you're in the middle of something, shoot them a note, say, hey, I'll get right back to you. I'm doing such and such. You don't have to give them details, but you can say I'm kind of tied up at the moment, but I'll get back with you in about, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. And if someone sends you an instant message, do the same, if you're in the middle of something. But I try to be hyper responsive when I'm working from home so that you're building that integrity, you're building that credibility that your employer, your coworkers can trust you to work from home and that they can still interact with you. So I think that's really important as well. Let's see. And just kind of conduct yourself the same way you would if you were in the office, when you're taking a call. Don't be really casual, I mean, I don't know, maybe you work in an environment where you could be really casual and use slang and all of this, but I like to practice professionalism whether I'm working from home or if I'm in the office. I have the same face I have when I'm working from home or if I'm in the office. Okay, so next I'm going to show you the area that I typically like to use when I am facilitating a meeting or if I am attending a meeting, because a lot of times my employer, they like to see the people that they're speaking to so that you can kind of read the body language and things like that. And so I choose a different setup or a different location in my home because, number one, I like to give people something pleasant to look at while the camera is on me and while I'm speaking. And it also makes me feel good because it puts me in a different mindset. It says, okay, you're sitting over here. This means that you're in a meeting. All right, so give me a second here and we will go over to that space. Okay, so this is the space I like to use when I am facilitating meetings. As you can see, this really nice picture behind me is like the perfect backdrop. I've received so many compliments on that picture that I have behind me. I picked it up from, where did I get it from? Bed Bath & Beyond, probably about 6 years ago. So when I moved into this house, and I love fuchsia. Fuchsia is my favorite color. It makes me feel happy, and I think it makes other people feel happy as well. So while I'm speaking, they have something to enjoy in the background. So I think that's important too. I've been in meetings with people where we've been on Skype or let's see, what do we use? We use like a homegrown system, but anyway, and they have like their headboard, you can clearly see that they're sitting in their bed and they're in a meeting with other people, from the company. And I don't think that's appropriate, but that's just me. But in any case, this is the space I like to use, and it actually is a space, hold on. Okay, so the space that I use for my meetings when I'm attending or facilitating is actually my dining room area, and I keep it clutter free, and it's also comfortable, so I think, like I said, you can use any space you want, but my recommendation would be just to make sure that it's comfortable, make sure that it's clean, and make sure that it's a professional setting. Don't have these meetings or attend these meetings while you're sitting in your bed or in the bathroom with a shower curtain. I mean, I guess if that's all you have, then, do what you got to do. But a really simple setup, like I showed you earlier on my, how I set up on my couch, is even better than that. So, hey, you guys, so it's getting close to lunchtime now. So what I'll do is I'll prepare lunch at home, or sometimes if I need a change of scenery, I will leave the house, but I make sure that I keep to that lunch break for either an hour or an hour and a half. Sometimes I'll only take 30 minutes, run out, grab a bite, maybe bring it back here, and then I'll get back to it. It depends on the workload and what I need to get done or prepare for the next day. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.